the letters. I have a book, just like we have the writing books for children for English alphabet or other alphabets. I have a book in which there is like a writing for alphabets. So what I will do is I will send you a picture. If you want, actually, I can just show you right now. But I can send you the pictures of these so you can try to write in the spare sheets of paper or a notebook. If you want to make notebooks, then it will help you. It's not something you have to do, but it will help you very quickly to get very familiar with the letters, because what happens is very similar letters, after some time that we start reading, like ba, ta, and tha, they're similar letters. Only thing is the dot is different, like where you put the dots. So when you're reading, sometimes you start getting mixed up while reading. So it really helps to make them really, because it's not our first language, right? So it just helps to make us more familiar with the language. So only if you all want, I will share the pictures, and then you can in the WhatsApp group, and you can practice in your own free time, just writing those letters and different things. So it will, inshallah, it will help, inshallah. Okay, so regarding the Quran, we will continue. We last time we talked about the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and then we talked about the units of the Quran and how alphabets come together to make words, and words come together to make ayahs or the verses, and then they come together to make the surahs or the chapters in the Quran. And the Quran's also divided into different juz and everything. So just to get us familiar with all these things. Um, Again, why we are learning the Qaidah is the point of learning Arabic alphabet and everything is um, to be able to read the Quran and everything. So our final goal is the Quran, inshallah. And with every letter that we're working on, we are getting rewards with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah ta'ala. So today what I want to do is I'm going to talk about ayah number 6 and 7 of Surah Baqarah. After we had talked last time about ayah number 1 to 5. So Sister Shaheen, can you share the screen and put the ayahs, or I can put it on my screen as well?
Um, yes, let me go back, inshallah. You continue.
Okay, meanwhile, while we have the ayahs coming on, so basically in the first 5 ayahs, we learned about that in Surah Fatiha, we had asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. We had praised and thanked Allah. We started to recognize who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. He's the most merciful. He's the Lord of all the worlds, and He's the master of the day of judgment. As soon as we realized that He is that, and we surrendered ourselves and we said, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. You are the one who, you alone, you are the only one that we worship, and you are the only one that we seek help from. And then when we asked Him for help, we realized that the most important help we need in our life is the guidance. And then we asked Him for guidance to be on the straight path, to be on the path of those He has blessed, and not those who have incurred His anger or who have got lost or astray. Then, when we asked for guidance, our dua was answered. As Surah Baqarah started with Alif Lam Mim. So first we got the orientation of humility, that we should approach this book with the intellectual humility and be open-minded and understand that we will not understand everything, and that's okay. We have to be okay with just taking whatever we get and move on, and inshallah Allah will slowly open more and more doors for us. That said, there will be some things in this life that will not make sense, and some things that we will never be able to understand totally, and we have to get familiar with, we have to be comfortable with that, inshallah. And with that humility and with that orientation of coming as a seeker, as a beggar to this Quran, we will learn more, inshallah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is the book about which there is no doubt. In it there is a guidance for those who believe and those who are muttaqi, those who have taqwa. So taqwa is, as we all talked about, is fearing God. Because when we love someone so much that we fear them being upset with us, so, right? So we don't want them to be upset with us, and we fear it so much that we are so careful, right? So we talked about that, and then sorry.
Sister Nidhi, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is that was an email you shared, the one I couldn't find it? I'm sorry.
No problem. It's the website, the Quran WBW, which sister usually opens up. to have the ayah and the word by word meanings?
Oh,
I think Sister Fatima, I don't know whether who opens the ayah, but
let me check it again, inshallah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it one word
it's
at the bottom.
yeah, it's the website quranwbw.com. If you just open that, it should be. Yeah. So, inshallah, what we were, so basically, we talked about these are the successful people, and these are the people who believe in the unseen. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة. They believe in the unseen, they pray, and they spend from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them, and in the akhirah, they have firm belief, right? So they are very firm in their belief for unseen. They believe in the books that have been, they believe in what has been sent to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they believe in what was sent before him. And uh, um, these are the people who are on guidance from their Lord. So we can get guidance only from God, and these are the people who are the successful ones. So we talked about that. Now today, what we are going to talk about it, as we've learned about this people who are successful, it is also important for us to know people who are not successful, right? Just like we follow the same pattern in Surah Fatiha, we learned about, Ya Allah, make us from those who have your blessings, and not from those who got your anger or astray. So we don't want to be from these two people. So it's also important to know um, where can we go wrong, or where can people go wrong generally, right? So how do we protect ourselves from that? So today, and inshallah for the next couple of weeks, we will be talking about those who are not successful. So the thing is that in Islam there is we do not there's no generally when we look at people, we look at people in terms of we classify them in terms of the color of the skin, which nation or region you belong to, your language, your education, your financial status, your job, what kind of a body somebody is, fat, thin, tall, short, what are their hobbies, and things like that, right? But these kind of differentiators are not in Islam, so, right? So it's what Islam tells us. Yes, these are a part of life, but Islam differentiates people on the basis of faith, right? So what happens is when somebody becomes a Muslim, whether they are a new Muslim, born Muslim, whether they are from any nation, any nationality, any color, that does not matter. They are still Alhamdulillah, they all enjoy the same rights. So eventually, I'm sure you will all learn, some parts of the Sirah probably, and you will know more as we go on. But the Sahabas, which were established for a long time, from the very beginning of the time of Islam, like Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu, they had the same rights of a Muslim that were enjoyed by Bilal or Salman al-Farsi or Suhaib al-Rumi, who accepted Islam and then who became Muslims, inshallah. So Islam does not accept any classification, inferiority, superiority between human beings about anything except by faith. Right? So a believer, we learned in the previous ayahs, is a mu'min, is a muttaqi, someone who has taqwa, someone who has iman, someone who benefits from the book and therefore becomes successful. They are fair-minded people, they're conscientious people, they're God-fearing people, they're morally alive, and they're people with a sound heart. They use their mind and their hearts for you know the they look at the things around, they think about those things, and they work with them, inshallah. Right, so if we so today when we start, let's start with ayah number 6, inshallah. Sister, should I put it, or are you able to?
Yes, because I'm still looking for it. I'm sorry. I'm
Don't
so
worry about it. No, no, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. I'll put it, inshallah. Okay, I'll try. um let's see. Okay, can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, so ayah number 6, I'll start from ayah number 6. It says, I'll just read the ayahs first, and then I will read the word by word, and then we'll explain, inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Innal ladhina kafaru sawa'un alayhim a'anzartahum am lam tunzirhum la yu'minun. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. Okay, so inna, the first word, inna means indeed, certainly. Alladina, those people who. kafaru, disbelieved, sawa'un, it is the same, alayhim, to them. Alayhim is made of two words, ala and him, but you can just see for now alayhim, to them. Andartahum. So has several words in this. So it is is separate. So is whether, andartahum, whether warn, like you warn them. Okay, so you don't really need to know, but I'm just saying so that you understand that there's a lot going on in this word, and the main root word is nadara, which is to warn, and so the whole word andartahum means whether you warn them, or lam, not. So we say la in Arabic, which also means not, and lam, which also means not. But lam is a strong word, like definitely not, right? So lam, not. Tundirhum, lam means like never, basically. So lam tundirhum, you warn them. La, not yu'minun, they believe. So what does this whole thing mean? Indeed, those who disbelieve, those people who are the disbelievers. Again, disbelievers, because of the lack of another word, we use the word disbelievers, but it is a deep word, kafaru, just like muttaqi was a deep word. Kafaru is a deep word. We will talk more about it in a few minutes, inshallah. So those who indeed, certainly, no doubt about it, those who disbelieve, it is the same. It is the same for them, whether you warn them or you do not warn them. They will not believe. Okay, the next line is Khatama Allahu. Khatama means seal. You know, just like on the letters we put a seal. Like in old times, the letters they had a wax seal to seal the letter, saying that nothing can go out of it anymore. Like it's all sealed. Khatama Allahu. So set a seal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set a seal ala qulubihim, on their hearts. Qalb is heart, which is the root word here is qalaba. Qalb, qulubihim, their hearts. Him at the end refers to them. Again, you don't need to memorize this, so don't worry about it. Just go along with me here, and slowly you will start to recognize, right? Ala qulubihim, on their hearts. Wa ala, wa means and, ala on, and on sam'ihim, their hearing. Him again is there, right? So sam'ihim, sama'a means hearing, refers to hearing, and him means there. So sam'ihim, their hearing. Wa ala, and on absarihim, basara, basara means seeing, right? So on their vision, him again there. So on their vision, rishawa is a veil, is a curtain, something blocking their vision. Walahum, and for them, la is separate, hum is separate, wa is separate here. So and for them, adabun is a punishment, azim, azim means great, something very big, huge, great, right? So the meaning of this verse is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set a seal on their heart. Their hearts have been blocked now. There's a seal on their hearts upon their hearing, and over their vision there's a veil, and for them is a great punishment. Okay, so let's just go over this a little bit in a little bit more detail, inshallah. So what does this mean? Inna ladina kafaru. Inna beshak, like certainly in Urdu we say beshak. So what it means is when this word comes in the beginning of any sentence, inna ladina, inna atayna kal kawthar, inna salati wa nusuki, right? So inna, this word will come many times in the Quran. So inna ladina, what it means is that like certainly, definitely, there's no doubt about it. This is the another a small beauty of Arabic language, that it doesn't just convey the meanings, it also conveys the depth of meaning and the style of speech. So for example, if somebody was giving a speech on a podium, when they want to like literally say certainly, definitely, they would say, like, they'll literally bang their hand against the podium and say definitely, you know, this is true, this is like, believe this is 100% totally true, you know, this, just get this in, everyone just get this and everything. So that's what inna does, just a small word, inna, but it gives us that meaning. Alladina, those who, kafaru, so disbelieve. The word kafaru is again, it's a very deep word, again, just like muttaqi we talked about. Kafara, the word means to hide something, right? So for example, the word if you look at different usage in Arabic language, night is called kafir because it hides things, right? Night is dark, it hides things. A farmer is called a kafir because like he hides the seed under the soil and then the seed grows and everything. So it's something hidden, right? For when somebody does a sin and a mistake or a sin happens by mistake and they want to seek forgiveness, what you do is you seek forgiveness and you do some charity or something. So you they say you pay a kafara for that, right? So it's like kafara. Kafur also refers to the outer peel of a fruit. So for example, you have an orange and you have an outer peel of that orange, which is what it's doing is it's hiding the fruit inside it. So sometimes when we buy a fruit, we don't know inside whether it is a very fresh fruit or it's a hidden fruit, or is it a rotten fruit? We don't know that, right? So the peel sometimes hides the fruit and the quality of the fruit as well. So there's a meaning of hiding in that. In a specific sense, we can use it for the word kafaru can be used to hide different things. But in a general sense, in Islam, it refers to people who deny like gratitude, like they're somebody who's getting a lot of blessings, but they're denying it. Like supposing a parent does a lot for a child, and after some time, the child goes back and says, "You didn't do anything for me. What did you do for me? Nothing." Right? But the parent actually spent their whole life and put their whole life on hold for the child, but so the child shows ingratitude, right? So they are hiding something because they know in their hearts that they have to be grateful. They've understood it. They know, they've seen, they've lived that reality that their parents have dedicated their whole lives to them, and yet they are hiding it, right? And they are stopping themselves for it. So that's the meaning of kafir, and it also means of hiding faith. In the sense of Islam, it refers to denying all essential articles of faith. So, which would mean denying the existence of God, denying that there is one God, denying, like understanding it, knowing it, the truth reaches someone, they understand it, they internalize it, but after that they deny it, right? So to deny something, it's not that they just don't know about it. This is very specific, referring to those people who knew it, the message reached them, they understood it, they clearly understood it, and then after that, because of their arrogance or because of their stubbornness, because of like they didn't want to lose a certain standing in the society, which they feel comes from denying the God or God's commandments. They don't want to go that road, and they that because of that ego and pride, they deny it. Those people are referred to as kafaru. Again, when we say the word kafaru, we cannot just say any people. These are very specific people. We cannot use it to describe just about anyone, right? And the difference between these two, as I was talking in the beginning, that a believer, a mu'min, is a different from a kafir, right? So this is the classification in Islam. In Islam, you don't have color of the skin, nationality, and everything. You have a believer or a disbeliever, right? So the disbeliever and the believer cannot be the same. So a believer is fair-minded, conscientious, God-fearing, morally alive person, and who has a sound heart, and they use their mind for different things and everything, right? A kafir, on the other hand, is a direct contrast to a mu'min. The kafir is a person who is arrogant, who doesn't like, who's so stubborn that they're not prepared to hear the truth or even consider their argument. They are set in their ways. It doesn't matter like whether you want them. They are like, no, I know everything. I don't want you to tell me anything or stuff like that. But again, although in common terms people use this term, but this is a very specific term in Quran. When the Quran uses this term, it refers to very specific people who denied the message which was given by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet obviously explained it better than any of us could have explained it, and he had the perfect message, like right away the way he was coming to him and he was explaining the message. And the people who denied him, he had the perfect manners as well, he had the perfect wisdom as well on how to explain it to whom. And yet those people, after understanding and these delights, so those leaders of those like social political leaders of that time who understood it and who were the leaders who didn't want to like bow down or like give him like why should we follow anyone sort of a thing. So those are the people that are referred to as kafir in the Quran, not today's day and age people who might not be Muslims yet. So again, sometimes some Muslims and even non-Muslims don't understand this term, and they use it very loosely for people who might not be Muslims yet. But we in Quran, it's a very strong word, and we don't just use it for anyone. We use it for very strong uh, people who are very defiantly disobedient, and who are very stubborn and arrogant, and who are not prepared to listen to reason, who deny anything, who deny being grateful to God, even who deny existence of God or oneness of God, even after they've understood it, because they want to have carry on with their whatever they're doing and everything, right? So kafara means to hide, and we all talked about that. uh, so in in Islam, what we say is, when we want to, so I'll give you an example. When we want to move to America, we follow the rules of America, right? We have to follow the rules of the country that we are going to. In America, we have to follow the rules of America. In Canada, we have to follow the rules of Canada. So whichever is the government administration or the ruler of a certain land, they establish the rules, and when we go there, we have to follow those rules, right? So this world belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the akhirah belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we live here, those who work according to and live their lives according to the rules and the parameters set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those are the people who have who thrive in this world in the real moral and spiritual sense, and those are the people who will inshallah go to Jannah, right, in to paradise later on. And the people who deny, they are the people who will go to Jahannam. On the day of judgment, there is no neutral place. There is either Jannah or there's Jahannam. There's no like okay, we are hanging in the middle, we don't know where to go. No, it's going to be either Jannah or Jahannam. So you go. So it's clear as blank and white that a mu'min can someone mu'min is someone who has iman, someone who has belief, a believer. A mu'min cannot be a kafir, and a kafir cannot be a mu'min, right? But there are many shades in between, right? So what are the shades in between? So for example, like there are different levels, obviously. So someone who is a believer, so once you start to believe, your iman can keep increasing throughout your life from different life experiences that we have, by different things we learn in the Quran and in the Sunnah, things we observe in the nature. There are different ways in which our iman can keep increasing as we grow. And there are also different ways in which somebody's disbelief or kufr can keep increasing, or like they start doing sins, and they get more ill-mannered. They start taking rights of other people. They don't believe in God. They start doing crazy things, and they start oppressing others, and they go like they can go worse and worse and worse. So there can be different levels, although these two things don't mix, right? But they have a lot of things. Another thing is, kufr has a lot of leeway. Like kufr has many ways that it can manifest itself, and it has many like you can mix a little bit of iman into it, doesn't make any difference. But iman is very pure, right? So just like if you think of it like pure water, if there is dirty water in one glass and clean water in one glass, in dirty water you can add as much clean water as you like, it will still stay dirty, right? It will not become clean just because you added a lot of clean water to it. You have to literally purify it to make it clean. On the other hand, in the other glass, if there's pure clean water, if you add a drop or two of filth in it, it spoils the whole thing, right? It spoils the thing, and it doesn't stay clean anymore. So it has to go through the process of purification now to become clean. So the thing is, that's the difference between iman and kufr. Kufr can still tolerate, okay, you can believe in something, I don't mind, but iman is very clear that we have to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are very clear in that. If you look at the word sawa'un, sawa'un means it is the same. Okay, so for example, when we say two things that are working in equal with each other, right? So for example, our two hands, they work together, they're of the same size and shape. Our two legs are equal. In some people actually have this defect that even if there's a little bit of difference, even if there is a 1 millimeter of a difference in their size of legs, they can be very unstable and keep falling. Like our legs are so perfectly, our human body is so perfectly proportioned, and people who have the even a little bit of change here and there, or some light very slight variation, they go through so many challenges in their life because of that condition or anything, right? So it is sawa'un means the same. It is that word has that meaning. Alayhim, alayhi means to them. So it is the same to them. So what is that? Again, it seems like a small word and a preposition or things connecting the two words, but just the word alayhim has a lot of meaning. When it comes to Quran, not a single letter is basically out of meaning. Every single letter has a lot of meaning. So alayhim means that it will make no difference to them whether you tell them or not, O Prophet ﷺ, and by extension all of us, when we giving the message of Islam and somebody is not accepting the message, and we are trying to call them to Islam, but they are not listening or they are not agreeing with it, and they keep on rejecting. So it might be the same to them, that that they will believe whether you want them or you don't want them, but it is not the same for us. What does that mean? It means is that whether the other person that we are giving the message to, whether they accept it or they do not accept it, we will still get our rewards with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for trying. Like, our reward does not get less. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not reward us based on the results. The results of anything are in his hands alone. He rewards us on the basis of our efforts. So how much effort have me and you put in when we talk to someone about Islam, when we try to spread the message of Islam? Whatever effort we put in, it could be one person listening to us, it could be 50,000 people listening to us, it doesn't matter. If I have a sincere intention and I'm doing something for the sake of Allah, even if one person benefits 1% from something, inshallah, my reward is there with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah knows the condition of everyone's hearts, so He will reward. It could be somebody who's not paying attention, but that does not matter. My reward is there with me, inshallah. This and same goes for all of us. The next word is andartahum, whether you want them or not, or you don't want them, right? So whether you want them or you don't want them, they are not going to believe. So nadara, again, what does that word mean? Nadara, warn. Okay, so I just want to explain a little bit of this word. So how the prophets used to give their message to the people were, they used to give sound psychological and strong rational arguments for the existence of God and for the worship of one God only. And they used to give examples from human experience, physical universe, etc. And their message contain two elements, which is there throughout the Quran as well. We will find one is bashar, which is giving good news, and the other is nadar, which is warning. So bashar and nadar, they are opposite of each other, but they go simultaneously in the Quran all the time. So even in the Surah Baqarah, so far in the first 5 ayahs, there was bashar, there was good news. There was good news to the believers that, okay, you believe in the unseen, you've come to the Quran, you want this, and you really want guidance, you're looking for guidance, and you have a pure intention. Doesn't matter if you have how much knowledge you have, or you might be a beginner, or you might be a pro, like you might have spent so many years at it already. Doesn't matter. If you're coming to it with pure intention, you will get something out of it, and you will be successful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for your effort, even if somebody struggles with every letter and yet they keep at it. Every time they're struggling, they're getting the double the reward of someone who is pro at it, right? Because they're putting double the effort. So inshallah, we are all getting reward for it, whatever you do. So there was a good news and in the end they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, these are the muflihun, these are the people who are successful ones. And now after the bashar, after the good news, now is the warning starting. Like now from this ayah onwards is the warning to the people who are not believing, people who are arrogant, people who understand it, who see things, but they're not ready to listen. So they are getting warned now, right? So Nadar and Bashar, they go side by side in the Quran. Another thing about Nadar is, Nadar means basically bringing some news which would cause a lot of alarm, which would cause a lot of concern. Like, okay, like supposing somebody says, okay, they live in Florida or somewhere, and they're saying, okay, a hurricane is coming and it's like going to hit tomorrow, and you're like, okay, and it's going to be pretty severe, and these all houses are going to be destroyed. You know, you're in the way there. You have to do something. It's something which is alarming, something that, okay, I need to do something quickly about this, and I need to do, it is heading my way and I need to do something for it. So it causes an alarm in a person, it causes a concern. The second thing is, this another is a kind of warning, which is, this is not meant to just frighten people. but this is the kind of warning that is motivated through love and compassion of the person who's giving the warning. So the person who's giving the warning is not being like, okay, this is what it is, just get up and do something about it. No, it's like a warning that a mother gives to a child, like, so for example, a mom tells a child to be safe from the fire. Okay, stay away from this. This is a fire. This will burn you. Don't go there. Why is the mother telling? Does the mother want to scold the child? No, the mother is so concerned for the safety of the child. She's so worried that she's like, please don't do this. This will do this. This will harm you. This might burn you. This might, or from a snake or from a very small toddler. There's an electric outlet, and the child loves to poke their finger into that electric outlet, and the mother runs after. And I'm sure all of us have done that. You run after your child and you try to like get them away from it, and then please don't do that. Sort of a thing. So that's another. Another is a warning. So any person who's working for the sake of Islam, whether it was a prophet or by extension all of us, when we give the message of Islam, when we warn people, when we give good news and warning to people, we give even the warning that we give people is out of love and compassion. We are not doing it out of hatred or out of like, okay, you guys are losers anyway. No, no, we don't work like that. It is from love and compassion. We want to go to Jannah ourselves, and we want others to accompany us. How good a Jannah would be when our own family would not be there. We want our family to be there. And we want to try our best, inshallah, inshallah. And then obviously, opening the hearts is in the hearts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. But we keep doing that. So, and we don't know when whose heart will open. So again, first of all, we don't label anyone as kafir. We keep giving the message. And we keep giving the message for the sake of Allah first, that we know that Allah will reward us for, and I need those rewards. I need Allah's help myself first, because if I'm doing something for the sake of Allah, He will reward me, and inshallah, maybe He will, like, inshallah, I have hope that He will forgive my sins because I'm trying to do something for His sake. And so He will reward me for that, and inshallah, He will also reward me in the afterlife, this life as well as the afterlife. And then I want other people, which are my close people, the people I love, I try to give them the message. Sometimes, like, when a mother tries to explain to a child, sometimes she uses this reasoning, sometimes she uses that reasoning, until the child understands. When you're trying to make a child eat, when it's a small child, like a young child, and they don't want to eat, and they're like, but they need their nutrition, their need. So sometimes you would be like, no, you have to eat, just sit down and eat. Sometimes you'll be scold, sometimes you just scold them, sometimes you'll be like playing with them, and sometimes like you'll be like, okay, this is like, you'll have a spoon and you'll run like this, like an aeroplane coming, and open your mouth, zoop, it went in. Like, we've all done all those silly things. Like, we do these things to like make fun, or we decorate the food sometimes. Okay, have it like this, so the child will eat it. So we try in different ways. So again, just to make people explain, when we are trying to give the message of Islam, we'll try different ways as well. We sometimes we'll give them good news, sometimes we'll give them warning, sometimes we'll try to show our emotions, that we really love them and we really want them to join us in La ilaha illallah. And sometimes we will be upset, different things, right? Again, different things depending on the situation and the person and things involved, obviously. We'll know all of them. So, La yu'minu, now, when it says, for these
Maybe
people,
before you
however,
proceed,
sorry,
can you tell me muflikun one time?
sorry, you said muflihun?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so muflihun was in ayah number 5, right? When we said the last word of ayah number 5, say, Ulaika ala hudam min rabbihim wa ulaika humul muflihun. So muflihun comes from the word falaha, which means success. Okay, so falah means success, and muflihun are the one who have success. So if you look at the pattern of the word muflihun, just like Islam, and someone who has Islam is Muslim, right? Iman, and someone who has Iman is mu'min. So similarly, falah is success. Someone who has success is muflihun, muflih, and a plural is muflihun. So the wow now noon at the end, un sound at the end, means like a plural, the successful people, like once, right? And what does falah? Falah actually refers to a farmer. So it is a special kind of success, a kind of success in which there is hard work involved. There is like a farmer has a success at the time of reaping their crops, right? Like after they've sowed the seeds, they've tilled the soil, they've done all this hard work, and everything, and then they have the crop comes out, and now when it's um, the time for harvest, that time the farmer is called a falah, right? So this word has a meaning in the sense of a success which comes from investing some effort into it, and then getting that success out of that thing. So that means falah, right?
Okay. Thank you, Nidhi.
You. Okay, so when we look at now, going back to our ayah, can you see my screen still, the ayah?
Yes, we can see you.
You can see. Okay. So, inna ladina kafaru sawa'un alayhim. So, indeed, certainly, no doubt about it, those who disbelieved, and these are the people who defiantly, disobediently disbelieved and opposed the Prophet, and they were the Prophet's family members, now ready to oppose him to the point of wanting to kill him or wanting to harm the Muslims. These are those disbelievers, very specific group of people who were there at that time, right? And there will be manifestations today, but we can't judge because we don't know for sure. We don't know the condition of hearts of people. It is the same to them, alayhim, anzartahum, whether we warn them, am lam tundirhum, or we do not warn them, la yu'minun. They are not going to believe. So yu'minun, amana. Again, we saw this word before, yu'minun, in a couple of ayahs before, that they believe, alladina yu'minuna, ayah number 3 and 4. We saw this yu'minuna. So we'll just look at this word a little bit more. It comes from hamza, a, ma, and na, mim, and nun, amana, right? And what it means is yu'minun. There's several meanings to it. So one of it is like aman, like we say in different languages. Aman means peace. So it is like our soul or something becomes at peace. Something which is calm and peaceful, right? Another thing is iman, like belief, which is there. Another implication of this is amanat. Like when we have someone who has given us something. So we are, say my friend gives me um, says she has some money, and she says, okay, can you just keep it safe, or she has a car, she's going back home for a visit, and she's like, okay, can you keep my car for 2 weeks with yourself, and I keep it with me, right? It is an amanat for with me, and when she comes back, I give it back to her. So I gave back her amanat to her, right? So when we give it back, we come in peace, because like, okay, it did not belong to me, it belonged to her, and I gave it back to her. So that is one meaning of another meaning when we say believe. So the
Amanat
overall,
means property.
yeah,
Amanat means
amanat means
property.
property or something that belongs to someone else. I was holding it for some time. It could be anything valuable. It could be even faith. It could refer to faith. It could refer to property. It could refer to money, jewelry, any resources. Even it could refer to, like, if I'm watching somebody's children, right? They are an amanat, because I have to. If I'm watching my friend's kids, for example, they are an amanat, that I don't harm them while they are under my care. In the time that she comes to pick them up, I take care of them and everything. They are her amanat. So it's like somebody has given you something to safeguard it for some time. It could be anything. So
Assalamu
and
alaikum
also they say
warahmatullahi
that,
wabarakatuh. Amanat could be like if somebody's saying like I'm telling you my secret, like I have done this. Please don't tell anybody. Then it will become your amanat, so you cannot tell anybody else.
yes, very good, mashallah. Yeah, that's right as well. Mhm. Um, so is that clear, Sister Vinda?
Yes, it is clear.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we are talking about yuminun.
Yeah, yu'minun, and we're talking about amana, the word. It can have, like, we're just trying to understand the kind of, when we are looking at all these different meanings, what it helps us to see is the kind of emotion, the kind of feeling behind this word, and the kind of flow. It means belief, but we are understanding the different ways that the same root words come, and it gives us the whole feeling behind this word and the whole more deeper meaning into this. It helps us understand that. So when we look at related words like aman, amanat, aman, so it helps us to understand that, and it also helps us understand this belief is like, it's something that Allah Ta'ala has blessed us, and we are supposed to take care of it. So it comes similar meanings, but all these meanings get together to make that. Does that make sense?
So the faith Allah Ta'ala blessed me with is an amanat for me.
Yes.
Okay.
right? Another word which has a similar thing is Amin. When we have a dua, when we see a dua, or when we say dua, after that we say Amin, right? So when we say so by saying Amin, we mean that we want this, like we affirm this, that this is something that somebody made this dua, and I'm saying Amin means yes, I hope this happens, or I confirm this, and I want it for you, and I also want it for myself. So when we say Amin, like for example, one of the scholars I listened to some time back, he used to say that if you are new and you don't know how to make so many duas, and some people you see them, they are making, some scholars, you hear them making such nice duas and something, and you're like, I don't know all these either Arabic duas or even English duas, those duas don't come to my mind. Don't worry about it. Whenever you hear someone make a dua, just keep saying Amin, because when you saying Amin, you are going in peace, and you're saying, you're believing in that, and you're saying that I want it too, and may Allah give it to you and to me, right? So you are saying that. Another word with a similar meaning is al amun. Amun is like a camel. The rider of the camel is not afraid that the camel will get tired or fall. So the rider is has the trust in the camel. When the rider is riding that camel, the camel's like taken care of and everything, and the camel's like strong and well fed, and the rider is, and it's not sick. The rider knows. So it's that kind of camel was called al amun in Arabic. So if we look at this word yu'minun amana, so again, just like the word taqwa, we said that many meanings will come as we go on, and obviously if we just talk about one as we go more in the Quran, more meanings will open up. So supposing similarly, iman or yu'minun is they believe, right? It's a verb, like they believe, they're believing something. But the word iman, it will have several meanings, and we will uncover more and more meanings as we go on, inshallah. Okay. So, but for now, I just wanted to give a few meanings just so that you get the overall theme of the meaning, and you get the overall like flavor of the meaning, if that's the right way to say it. Okay, so what can people reject when you coming to disbelief? Some people say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is only the creator, but they reject that he is the caretaker. They reject that he's the maintainer and everything, and they say, okay, he created us. I believe in God. Just like, they give a example. A lot of places you will hear some people give the example of the iPhone and Apple company, and they say, okay, they made it, but now it is mine, so I can do with it whatever we want. But this is rejecting that Allah is the Rabb. Allah is not just the creator, He's also the Rabb, means He's also taking care of us. Every breath we take depends on, like on His, like, providing us with oxygen and so many things working together to in our body to make the things possible, the systems possible and everything working. So He's taking care of us every minute. And when we are just saying, okay, he created me, I worship him, I know, I regard him, but I don't have to listen to any rules, or I don't have to do anything that he wants me to do, then we are rejecting that part. Okay. People could reject for a variety of reasons. They could reject because they are ignorant, they don't know something. They could reject because either the message has not reached properly to them, or in a way that it really they really got it. Or they could reject even after the message has reached them, they have understood it, realized it, and but did not accept out of arrogance. But as I said, only those people will be called kafir who have understood it and then rejected it, right? On the day of judgment, so many non-Muslims might carry a benefit of doubt with them, because because the Muslims around them did not give them a message properly. So these people will not be called kafir. Again, one another rejection could be like some people who reject praying, like I said, the rules, or somebody says, I'm not going to pray or something. I don't really need to pray. I just worship Allah in my heart. I know there is God, and I just talk to God in my heart. And I used to be personally like that at one point. And it's like you have to understand. Once you understand that namaz is essential, you need to pray salah. So then you're not rejecting it anymore, and then you're praying it, right? So what happens is, in this life, we know that if we don't use something for a long time. So, for example, if I were to blindfold my eye for 1 year, then after I open the blindfold after 1 year, what will happen? I'll open my eyes, so much light will come on it, and I will go blind. If I don't use, if I tie my hand to myself my left hand to myself and I say, okay, for 1 year, I'm not going to use my left hand at all. And for some crazy reason, I do that and I don't use it and I just use my one hand. What will happen after 1 year? When I open that thing and when I try to use the sum, I will not be able to use it anymore, right? So what happens? Anything, we know this for physical body. We know that anything that we don't use, we lose it, right? Similarly, what happens is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us faculties. He's given us sight. He's given us our hearts. He's given us the ability to see and hear. But if we don't use it for the true purpose, if we don't use it to understand God, to understand and find God, and if you're using it just to fulfill our own vain desires all the time, yes, it's entertain. Islam doesn't say don't entertain yourself or don't do anything fun, but if we are just doing that and we are ignoring the existence of God, we are not even doing that. What will happen after a certain period of time? We are just so arrogant, and somebody so arrogant and doing that. After some time, they will lose it, right? After some time they lose even the tendency to do it, right? There's only a certain time period until this thing is open. They say that guidance is something you have to ask for, and if you ask for, Allah Ta'ala will give it to you. But it is something you have to ask for. It is everything else in our life, food, water, Allah Ta'ala gives it to us without us even asking. But guidance is so precious that it is something we ask him and then we get, right? So we have to ask for it. We have to keep asking for it for more and more and more. And those who don't even ask for it, those who deny it so much, what happens after that? Khatam Allahu ala qulubihim. The next ayah, which is like Allah Ta'ala puts a seal on their hearts. So what happens is their hearts, they become sealed. Khatam means like a seal, like in olden times, like a wax seal that was put in the on the royal letters to seal them, which meant okay, now nothing can go out of it, and now it is sealed, and now the matter is done, right? So these people, if you think about it, these people are like so arrogant, so vain, and so opinionated that if you think, if supposing there's a rain that is happening and there's a utensil in which you want to collect the rain, but you put the dish upside down in the rain, will it collect any water? It will not collect any water, right? So basically it is, these people are like those dishes, like to give very crazy example, but inshallah whatever examples help us to understand better. So these are those people who've turned themselves upside down, and now whatever, even if the best message comes to them from the best person, it will not benefit them because they're just not ready to listen, right? And this also tells us that it gives like peace to the Prophet ﷺ, saying that, and some calm, because the Prophet ﷺ used to love people so much and he used to get so bothered. His heart would be like, he used to cry, and his heart would be so bothered for people. Yeah, Allah, I want to save these people, I want to give them the message of Islam, and I'm trying so hard, and I'm this is such a beautiful message, I'm trying to give them to the best of my ability, and he's trying like with wisdom, with the efforts, with everything, and yet these people are not listening. Ya Allah, what? Ya Allah, please open their hearts. Why is their heart not opening up? And Allah Ta'ala gives in this ayah, through this ayah, Allah Ta'ala gives consolation to the Prophet ﷺ and saying, "O Prophet, it's not these people, their hearts, Allah Ta'ala has put a seal on their hearts, not because Allah Ta'ala just put seal on people's heart randomly. It is because they disbelieved. It is because they understood, and then they said, no, we are not interested. Yeah, good, okay, not for me. I would just rather be just busy in my own life and everything. I don't want to do anything of that sort, right? So these people are such people. Again, as we said, these are very specific kind of people that we said, and these people also referred to the Jews of Medina at that time, the Jewish leaders, not even the Jewish common people, the Jewish
Nidhi,
leaders, religious leaders.
Nidhi, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Who are
Sorry.
these people? I lost my call in between.
Okay. So we are talking about the kafaru, in the Ladina kafaru, these people,
Yes.
right? So these people, at the time of the Prophet, are you familiar with the seerah, any little bit? The life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi
Yes.
wasallam?
Yes.
Okay. So these people were the people of Makkah who used to live. There are many different groups of people. One group is the people of Makkah who were living with the Prophet ﷺ, who knew him for 40 years, who knew he was a truthful person, and when the message of Islam came, he became a prophet, gave the message. They recognized the message, but they're like, we don't want the message, and they turned enemies against him. Okay? One group was these people because they just did not want the message. They did not want to give the orphans their rights. They did not want to clean the Kaaba of the idols and worship one God, which meant that every the slave and this everybody becomes equal, and they didn't want to have somebody from a lower society sit next to them. So they were like, so there was a lot of arrogance. Accepting Islam meant for them to putting themselves down to everyone's level, and they did not want that, right? So they opposed very strongly. Another group was the Jewish leaders, religious leaders in Medina after the Prophet ﷺ moved to Medina. Now these Jewish community leaders, they were they were the religious leaders. So everyone looked up to them. Uh, everyone would like and they were very corrupt in the sense that okay, this is the ruling, but if you pay this much and everything, we can change it for you. And okay, now you can get this ceremony done, and now you don't have to follow this, and you can do so things like that, right? So they were very corrupt, and they had put the Jewish religious leaders in over the course of history had put so much effort to erase from their own books. The books they got, Torah and the Injil, were the pure books, right? Injil, obviously, the Bible for the New Testament for the Christians, but for the Jewish people, we're talking about the Old Testament, which is the Torah. So they had put so much effort to erase from their own books the concept of akhirah. And now the Quran, when it keeps talking about akhirah. It keeps talking about life after death. It keeps talking about heaven and hell in a way that they have been trying to hide it from people. And the subject that they are trying to avoid, the Quran keeps hitting them with, right? So they become enemies, and these are the people who are denying. So they're not just denying the Quran, they were denying their own books. They were hiding parts of their own books before as well. So and some people say again, some people also say that they have been mentioned in the different scriptures all over the world of the coming of the final prophet and things like that. But obviously, there's more research. I don't have that much information about every other scripture, but about the Torah and the Injil, it is said very clearly that it was there in their books, and they recognized the final prophet like they would recognize their own son. So they were, as soon as they saw the prophet and heard his message, they recognized him so clearly, and yet they disbelieved. Yet they didn't want to come down to, they didn't want to accept him as the leader, because that means people would not consider them as leaders anymore. And they're like, no, I want my leadership because I have so much benefits, special benefits that come with that leadership, and I don't want to give them up, right? So these people are the people who are kafir, and these are the people on whose hearts Allah and on their hearing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a seal. Okay, so on their hearts and their hearing is a seal. Is that clear, that part so far?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, so these people, again, another thing, again, I want to just reiterate that again, because that's one of the most important part in this, like to understand in this, is that we cannot oversimplify, and we cannot call just anyone kafir or anyone like this, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that all children of Adam, and later on in Surah Al-Baqarah only we will learn in ayah number 38, then when guidance comes to you from me, whoever follows my guidance, there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they grieve. So whoever, like every son of Adam, no matter what religious background or something they come from, but once they hear the message and when guidance comes to them, and when guidance comes and they believe in it, then they are the guided people. Then there'll be no fear on them, and they'll not grieve or anything. They will have happiness and everything there with them, right? So it includes all children of Adam. So we cannot say kafir to anyone who has not received the message of Islam yet, or who's not a Muslim yet. Maybe there are reasons because they haven't understood it yet, or the message has not reached them properly. So we cannot oversimplify and generalize this. Again, another example is that the Prophet ﷺ, there was a funeral of a Jewish girl passing by, and the Prophet ﷺ, he stood up when the funeral was going, and the people around him said, Ya Rasulullah, this is not a Muslim person, this is like a Jewish girl whose funeral it is. And he said, so what, is that not a human being? Does that should I not show, like, should I not show the courtesy and everything? So what I'm trying to say is that we have to show courtesy to people, and not all disbelievers are hated. Like we don't hate people. We don't hate people. Only the worst people are oppressors, people who are killing, people like Firaun, people like who were Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl at the time of the Prophet Sallallahu, who were some people who were Ka'b bin Ashraf and other people who were Jewish leaders who plotted and tried to kill the Muslims, tried to harm the Muslims. They were going, not just denying, but they're doing things which were like oppressive in nature. They're trying to do harm. Those are the people who we refer as kafaru. But again, when we are learning these ayahs, obviously we're not learning it just as a history lesson. The point for us is to take a lesson for ourselves and to have like so again the lesson for ourselves first of all is that when I see a disbelief, a small speck of disbelief coming in myself, how do I know when to correct myself. The other thing is, if I'm giving the message of Islam to someone else or sharing the message of Islam with someone else, then I don't feel over sad or down if the other person does not accept it. It's okay if they did not accept. Maybe something else will come to them from some other thing, and my reward is not lost. If I'm working hard for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my reward is secure with Allah. So like I have to, so that's a distinction that we need to make like that, right? So we talked about this. Um, okay, so seal on eyes and seal on hearts and samihim. So again, what happens in the heart is um, just also to understand, why is Allah Ta'ala putting a seal on their hearts? What did they do? Why is their heart being sealed and their hearing being sealed? What does that mean? So their heart being sealed, what does that mean is when somebody does something wrong, what happens is, and scholars say that what happens is, if you do one sin and you're happy about doing that sin, then doing the next sin becomes easy for you. Another sin comes to you and you're able to do that more, to the point that you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And every sin sort of kind of puts like a dark spot on your heart, and they keep putting all these dark spots until like your whole heart becomes like full of darkness and rusty, and then that's when you get a seal done. Another example that some scholars give is like, if you put your hand outstretched, then doing one sin would be like you close one finger, and another thing, another more sins, you close another finger, more sins, you close another finger until you make a fist, and then it gets sealed. Like you keep going one way, and then after some time, that desire to even come towards the truth gets lost. On the other hand, it's also that somebody does good. When they do one small good deed, they take one tiny baby step, Allah opens another door for them, and he makes way for him and a little bit more, and they're able to do a bit more good deeds. Similarly, more and more and more, and they keep progressing in their guidance in a similar way. Again, when something is really close, these people, the seal that is being put by Allah Ta'ala doesn't just put a seal um, on like very like 5 sins, 10 sins, so you get a seal. No, the road to repentance is open for all of us all the time. We can repent for whatever we have done, even if there's a hadith to the effect of, even if our sins were from the earth right up to the skies, even if they were equal to the all the foam in all the oceans, if we were to repent to Allah sincerely, He will forgive us and He will bring us back to everything. But these people, these Khatam Allah, the seal that Allah puts is only on the very, very super stubborn, bad kind of a people. And those are the people that we talked about, like at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, who were there. So these people, what does it mean by putting that seal on the heart? It means that they even get incapable of not just faith, but the heart contains a lot of other emotions as well. So they get even incapable of loving the way they should, like other people or anything. They're sealing the heart means the mercy is gone from the heart, gratitude is gone from the heart, fear of consequences of what they do. So they become like very ruthless and rashless in whatever they're doing. Hope is gone. So they're always like very negative, full of negativity. The negativity keeps increasing. The feeling of guilt is gone. So even if they do super bad, horrible things, they don't feel any guilt anymore. The shame is gone. So they're able to do shameless things without feeling anything against that. They become rude. They keep increasing in rudeness, and like they become vile and vulgar in their ways. The sense of responsibility is gone. Then they don't feel responsible for any, like it's this is their job, this is this person's job, this is this person's job. I'm not responsible for anything. I'll do what I want in my life, right? And their sense of dignity is gone. Like not just for other people, but even for themselves. They don't have that sense of dignity anymore. That keeps going. And this is not a small problem. This is a huge problem, actually. Everything good that comes from the heart kind of goes away as well. When the seal is put, everything good starts to go, right? So when this, and the seal on hearing, what does that mean? So khatamallahu ala qulubihim means Allah put a seal on their hearts, wa ala samhim, and on their hearing, right? So hearing here means that what happens is, it's not that they can't hear anymore, and putting a seal on their heart doesn't mean that they got a heart attack or it stops working anymore. It doesn't mean that. It meant all that moral and spiritual decline that we were talking about. And so similarly, when we say seal on hearing, it means they do hear stuff. They'll do listen to stuff, but they don't hear. You know, like in sometimes we say, you're listening to me, but like sometimes we say to our children, you're listening to me, but are you hearing me? Do you hear what I say? Like I asked you to do this, like you heard me, but did you really listen? Did you really do it? So these people, what they do is, you know, even animals, they listen to the sound of their owner and they know what to do. And human beings are supposed to have like much better intelligence. We are supposed to have, you know, we are supposed to recognize Allah Ta'ala a lot more. We are supposed to look at the nature and realize that the Creator is one. We are supposed to look at the clouds and the trees and the things. We are supposed to listen to the Quran. We are supposed to listen to good things, like whether it's TED Talks or this. It doesn't have to be just religious, but like any good things, and it's supposed to impact our minds and our hearts. But that goodness just stops getting like stopped, and it doesn't go beyond the here, like, you know, they say, in from one ear and out from another, that sort of a thing. And it comes to a point that when they have a seal, it comes to a point that when they hear anything good, they start getting disturbed. Anything good disturbs them. It's like, just stop this, I don't want to hear this. Like, okay, like I don't want to hear anybody lecturing me or anything of that. Like, just forget it. You're telling me to like be nice to, or somebody says, okay, just be nice to your mom. It's like, come on, I don't tell me, like I know what to do. This is my mom, okay, keep out of it. You know, rather than understanding that and doing something about that. And on their eyes is a cover. So what it says is wala absarihim ghishawa. So on their eyes is a veil. What does that mean, to have a veil? Our vision is one way, right? So if there's a veil in front of us, then we cannot see anything else. So these, what it means by a veil in front of us is they're so engrossed in this dunya. They're so engrossed in like making one house to the next, or having one car to the next, or one entertainment, one movie to the next, one concert to the next. They're so engrossed in it that they cannot think anymore. Like it's a veil which has covered everything else. There is a sense of akhirah. There is a fitrah inside them. There is their natural disposition which tells them about Allah Ta'ala, but they ignore it. They have put a veil in front of them, and that veil is blocking their vision to see anything more meaningful. They are just they just want to be involved in like meaningless activities. Okay, so the thing is here, and for them is adabun adim, punishment which is great. One of the greatest punishments is this seal itself, because like the seal which is there, this is a huge punishment in itself, and obviously there is more punishment in the afterlife. It is important to also understand that Allah Ta'ala does not want to punish people, but the most wretched ones, they do deserve punishment. And the biggest punishment of this world is the seal on the heart, right? And although we say that, okay, this Allah Ta'ala is putting the seal, He's not putting it out of random. He's putting it because of what these people did. And they kept on doing for a long time. Allah Ta'ala is most merciful. And if somebody could not get mercy from the most merciful, they have to literally go out of their way and be really, 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 really bad to get that thing, to get anger from the most merciful, right? So to get anger from it, they have to be really messed up, right? So and not be willing to acknowledge it, not be willing to even listen to it and everything. Um, Here, one small point is they're hearing, it's singular. So what that means is we all hear the same thing, but the same message impacts different people in different way. Just like rain, it falls on different kind of soil. Some soil would give a lot of fruit, some soil would stay barren, right? But it's the same rain that's falling on different things. So different people will react to the Quran, different people will react to the message of Quran in different ways. And that also shows that how what is inside them comes out, right? The Quran kind of shows that difference in everything that comes out. Um, just one, I'm sure in every ayah we can go on and on, like this, like there's so many gems in every single ayah. But just to wrap it up, just one point here, that some people actually use this ayah, like some people who want to oppose Islam and everything, they use this ayah to say that, okay, Allah has put the seal on the hearts, so why should I be responsible for anything? It's not me. I didn't do anything. Allah Ta'ala put the seal on somebody's heart. So people who are involved in like sins, and sometimes they use this like excuse. And there's a whole issue of like freedom of choice and determinism. That okay, Allah Ta'ala already determined that I'm going to be bad. So where do I have a freedom of choice? I'm not doing it because I wanted to do it. Allah Ta'ala decreed for me to do it like that, right? But this is like really this does not really make sense if we understand it a bit deeper. It would have been unfair if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not have given us intelligence. He would not have sent us any prophets. He would not have sent us any books or any message. There were no signs around us in the universe, or inside us, or in our human experiences. Our eyes, our ears, and our hearts would not be capable of higher thinking. And then He would ask us on the day of judgment, what did you do? Right? But Allah Ta'ala gave us all these blessings. He gave us like a mind which is like so intelligent and clever. And yet some people, what they do is they're extremely intelligent and clever when dealing with the material world, right? But they get indifferent and rather like sometimes silly and stupid when it comes to moral and spiritual values and questions, right? So for example, um, I'll give you, it's a very silly example, but it's used in the thing. So sometimes if somebody who comes to our door and knocks the door, and this person is wearing like just a red underpants or something, no ID, nothing, and says, I'm from the government department and I need to check all your appliances, would we let that person in? He just rang the bell and he said, I'm from this department. He has no ID on it, no bag, nothing. He's just wearing red underpants and nothing else. And he's like literally looking like a lost kind of a person, hair all messed up and everything. Would we let that person inside our house?
No, because we wouldn't trust him based on his appearance.
Yes. So we have that intelligence, right? We know that we won't trust this person. Now, the same people who know this, like all the people, I'm not just talking about us, I'm talking about like generally people, human beings, for example. When we go to a beach, for example, if we see on the beach in the sand there's a word written hello, right? Would we believe that it just came by itself? We would think, no, somebody's written it, that's why it's here, right? Similarly, if we go to a factory and we see that there are genes being produced and everything, would we just think that it just happened to just come and the genes are being like perfectly coordinated genes are being produced by themselves? Or if there's an archaeologist who finds a piece of pottery, would they just think that it just appeared by itself, or would they analyze and say, okay, there must be, they find out, okay, this many years ago, this developed this many years ago, they must be having this kind of baking techniques and this and that. There's so much inferences they can get out of that particular thing, right? So there's so much thing that can be got from the thing. When we look at the mobile phone, like it is made up of sand, silicon, plastic, oil, all these materials, but just these materials sitting in a desert for thousands of years with wind and lightning and a movement cannot just create an iPhone out of random. We know that mobile phone is there's an intelligence behind it who created this. So any precise engineering, any great intelligence, we know, a common sense tells us that when we see these things, that there's someone who did that, right? If we look at drones, if we look at the birds, the drone birds, which some people have created, who fly and something, we clap and we're like, wow, this is such a great job. But when we look at the real birds with so much things, so many people, the same scientists who would be like, wow, this is amazing and that is amazing. When they look at the universe, they do not, they don't think that they say that no, this just happened randomly. And they see all that precision in the universe. They see all that precision inside us. And then they say, no, the universe created itself. Or so when we look around us, we see that there is an intelligent designer who created the earth and everything. And that's the use of our faculties. That's what, that when that's what we are using our hearing and our sight to our advantage and protecting ourselves from the Arabun Nadim, right? So I would just like to end with that absolute authority is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does not like no one can prevent or alter or frustrate his will, but he doesn't do things unjustly. He is extremely just and extremely wise. So if he puts a seal on somebody's heart, it's because they deserve it. Then it's not just because he just puts it on anyone. He gives more chances than anyone could have given. He gives more chances than we would be willing to give to our own children. He gives more chances to any of them like that. And then somebody goes beyond a certain point, then they get this seal on the heart. So these people, these kafaru, these two ayahs basically talk about the people who are disbelievers, but they are very defiantly disobedient disbelievers, and they are not ready to listen to anything, and they want to oppose everything. So basically, these are the second kind of people. The first people were muflihun, the successful ones, who are muttaqi, who are mu'min, and these people are kafir, who are the disbelievers of the highest degree, and their hearts have been sealed, and their vision, the hearing has been sealed, and on their vision is a way. Okay, inshallah, we will continue with more the next time. I would just want to like to ask if you would all like to share anything that you found interesting today or anything you learned today which might have helped you, inshallah. So, Sister Aisha, do you want to go first?
It's nice to learn with all you guys because you have more knowledge about this and you spreading and you telling everybody. I like it. I take interest in that, and I ask Allah Ta'ala make everybody give hidayat to learn more.
Ameen. Ameen. Does sometimes what happens is when we listen to something, it reminds us of something in our own life. Like, I don't know, I find that a lot with the Quran, that whenever you're learning, it just reminds us of something that we have seen either around us or something around us. So if anytime anybody wants to share that, which they think will help other people, then you can please share that as well. Sister Bindu, would you like to share something?
So talking about God,
Sorry, I
they
can't
do a
hear you.
little good deed, and then it grows and grows and grows. I have seen that when you start seeking the guidance in every situation in your life, initially it may seem a little vague, little hazy, and things like that. You accept it, you go through that situation. The next situation, then a little more clear, little more clear. And in this in front of your eyes, you don't hear like a person telling you. Like if you have a situation, your mother would say, okay, do this, do that, or your husband would say, do this, do that, but you don't see physically Allah Ta'ala, but you and a person.
So you're
So
breaking
the
up.
good deeds keep increasing and increasing. I was breaking up.
Yeah, like you keep like your voice is coming half a sentence. I could hear half a sentence. It was blank.
Okay, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me turn off my speaker. Okay, so you were telling about if we do bad things, the bad things multiply, 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 and everything gets black. And then the seal comes. Just like that, good deeds, if we do a little good deed, it multiplies, multiplies, multiplies. Just like that in the guidance of Allah Ta'ala. Can you hear me, all of you?
Yes, yes. Now you can. You can.
So just like that, in the guidance of Allah Ta'ala, if you start looking at it may seem a little vague, but if you keep asking, focusing, you get the guidance, you finish that task. So next time another situation will come, the guidance will be a little more clear. The next time comes, you'll be even more seeking with more intensity and with your ears, eyes, where is it going to come from? With your heart, waiting. And you get the guidance, and the guidance gets clearer and clearer. And the bond between us and Allah Ta'ala get stronger and stronger. Let's say if you have a situation, if your mother is with you, she'll say, okay, maybe the situation, if you do like this, it'll be better for you. Husband might say, oh, maybe this is right, you do this. So Allah Ta'ala is not physically with us like a person, but the bond will be even stronger with Allah Ta'ala than the bond you have with a physical person by your side. So the goodness, good deeds or guidance or whatever positivity, it multiplies with Allah Ta'ala over the course of time. That's what I want to say.
MashaAllah. That's so profound, inshallah. Inshallah. May Allah give that to all of us, that He keeps increasing us in guidance and in goodness and in nearness to Him. Inshallah.
Ameen.
Sister Naz, would you like to say something?
Yes, yes. It was mashallah, mashallah, very beautiful done. I hardly come here because at the same time I have other classes. I teach like tajweed, so I have other classes. So I cannot miss. I cannot take this class. But Alhamdulillah, today I don't have those other classes, so I attended. I'm so happy, and mashallah was very well done. I would like to, from now on, I would like to try to come if I can. But
May Allah guide us and may Allah protect us and may Allah make me and all of us that we spread guidance and not misguidance and may Allah protect us from saying anything that He
Amin.
is not
Summa
pleased.
amin.
Sister Shaheen, would you like to add anything or say anything?
Yes, mashallah, mashallah, barakallah fiki, Sister Nidhi, very well explained. Alhamdulillah. Each time I listen to you, I learn more and more and more. May Allah give you more barakah. Mashallah. Jazakallah. I learned so much.
Inshallah. Do you want to read the dua? Inshallah, everyone will meet on Saturday. I'm not usually able to come on Saturdays, but you are all in my duas, inshallah, on Saturdays. And please keep me in your duas as well. May Allah reunite us under His shade on the Day of Judgment, inshallah. Do you want to read the dua, Sister Shaheen? And we can finish the class.
Bismillah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم آمين يا رب العالمين.
Amen. Assalamu alaikum.
السلام عليكم.